Hi, this is Becky from Custom Biogenic Systems. I am here to show you today the 2101 controlled rate freezing systems software and give you an overview on some of the features that you'll find when using our freezer. When you open the software on your controller, you'll find the main menu here. If you have any questions about anything that you see on a screen at any time, you can use this question mark feature and it will show you, it will give you a rundown of everything that you need to know on that particular screen. So we'll go ahead and we will start with the program tab here. If you click on it, you can see you have the option to add and delete steps, and you see a graph here. You can either begin a new program or you can edit one that you currently have. The controlled rate freezer will come with 6 preset freeze runs that you can choose from, and you can use them as is. You can edit them, or you can create your own that you might find from somebody in your field. So to just add a step, you just would add a step, same thing to delete it. And if you are satisfied with your run, you can go ahead and save it. We'll return to the main menu, and we'll go over to the preview screen here. The preview screen shows what you just did in the program mode, except you can't make any changes and save them. All you're doing is previewing. To view old data, runs that you've gone through previously, you can go to the View Old Data button. You can search here using any of these customizable fields, which I'll show you how we can customize those shortly. You can check any of those off and search, or you can always just do it the old-fashioned way and open up your data files and look by name. Every field that you'll fill out during a run will be searchable here, with the exception of the blocks here. Note 1, Note 2, and the test instructions is what we have as default. If you go to Config Fields here, this is where you can go ahead and change that information. So you have your, operator, technician here. If you want, you could put in a patient or a patient number. You could use these for any of those fields, and they're all searchable. So when you go to View Old Data, now you can see that that patient and patient number is now in there, and it will stay there until you change it. For calibration, your controlled rate freezer will come calibrated, but if you choose to calibrate before a run, or if you need to change the probes in the future and then calibrate, you would come to this screen and just make sure that you choose the correct thermocouple here, whether it's the chamber probe or the sample probe. And you would just acquire the temperature for your cup of liquid nitrogen and acquire a temperature for your ice bath to calibrate those probes. To save that, you would hit OK. If you need to be compliant with 21 CFR Part 11, you would go ahead and disable or enable the security. So you would check this box here, and you could create a new user. There's different user levels, administrator all the way to operator 3, and that's described in more detail in the manual. When you are using the security, you also are able to have an audit viewer. So it timestamps and describes everything that's done, from adding and changing users to programs to everything that's detailed inside the run. So those then can be printed and signed off on if need be. So now we're going to get to the most important part, is to start a freeze run. You can go in here and you can put as much or as little information in here as you would like. These fields, excuse me, these fields are the ones that were, um, previously changed in config fields. And then you go ahead and select a freeze program. That's where you would choose either one of the 6 programs that come with the freezer or your own. And then you would assign a freeze name. You can name it the date, you can name it after whatever you want. So we're just going to use the date here and hit run. And then you'll see where this is the actual path then of that saved file. On the left-hand side here, you'll see the chamber temperature, sample temperature, and target temperature. These are all live temperatures. So what you're seeing here, this is just a demo software. So it's somewhere around room temperature. You would see room temperature before you start a run. If you ever wanted to verify that your probes are reading correctly, you could take an ice bath and a cup of liquid nitrogen and verify that your probes are reading correctly before you began a run. There are 3 tabs at the top here. Recent data is what we recommend you run the program in. It's about 3 minutes of data that you'll see of the graph. All data can be used if you want to zoom out and see a larger picture of your graph. But we don't really recommend keeping it in there just because the graph lags a little bit just with so much information being pushed onto it in a short period of time. Everything that you'll see in all data will show up on the graph after the run. And then here in View Program, you can see the program that you chose. And you'll see each step here is also shown at the very top, where you can see the step number, the cooling rate, the demand temperature, and the hold time. And also if the chamber or the sample is going to trigger the next step. Alarm reason is up here at the top. So if there is a probe alarm, a tracking alarm, or the end of run alarm, you'll hear an audible alarm, and the reason will be at the top here. Down here in the manual operation, manual overrides are not used very often, but if you choose to use them when these are activated, the cool plus valves, the heater, or the fan, choosing manual override will do the opposite of whatever those valves are doing. So right now everything's off. If I choose manual override, it turns it on. Likewise, if the valve was on and I hit manual override, it would turn that valve off. Alarms can be muted with the exception of the end of run alarm. And then continue would be used when you have a step that needs a physical push to move on, such as a hold. Anytime you have a cooling rate of 0 and a hold time of 0, that is an automatic indefinite hold until continue is pushed. We like to do that for the first step, so that way you can allow your sample to equilibrate to the chamber temperature as well. And finally, when your run is complete, you can choose to run warm. What that will do is turn the heater on and the fan on, and it will warm up your chamber to 30 degrees. And that way you can do another run almost immediately. You don't have to wait for your chamber to thaw for hours before you can use it again. When you're done, if you're using the security feature, you can log out. If you're not using the log or the security feature, you can go ahead and just hit exit and it will return to the main screen. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 1-800-523-0072 or visit us at custombiogenics.com.